Hello all, good morning, good evening or good afternoon based on wherever you are. I've been a little bit busy lately, but what would be a great way to end the year is to talk about upgrades to Business Central 25. Now, there will be multiple videos in this series and I would like your help before I start recording future videos on this. Uh, Business Central 25 is a pretty important version because that's where the first break version is introduced. If you haven't watched the video, I would highly encourage you to watch this video. The link of this video would be into the description and the first pinned comment. So Business Central 25 becomes the first ever break version. We'll talk about it you can surely see this video, but eventually the idea is to make sure that we do upgrade to Business Central 25 from every version, at least from Business Central 14 and all. For this video where we are doing from 24 to 25, I'll be doing it with the North America or US localization, but if you have any other countries in mind, that'll help you put that country name into the comments. It can be India, it can be Germany, it can be another country, right? So just add into the comment section which country's upgrade video you would like to see from, let's say 23 to 25, which will be the next in this series, and I'll make sure that I try to cover that. Okay, so there has been a lot of talk. I highly encourage you to watch the previous video, which is around what is that? Now I forgot. That is about the full text, because that's important. For Business Central 25 upgrade, you need to know how you do a full text search installation for Business Central. So if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch it. Again, the link of that video would be in the pinned comment. So today, what we are going to do is we are going to do a 24.3 US upgrade to a 25.1 US upgrade. From 24.3 to a 25.1 US upgrade. I have done some pre-checks. I'll just inform you about that and then we start. What you see here is the application folder in the 24.3 US DVD, and this is the same folder in 24.US. What I've done out of this is I have extracted the core apps into this folder, which is the 4 main apps: application, base application, foundation, and system application. And then I have the new apps which are introduced in 25, which are not available in 24.3. And then the third folder, which is existing, contain all the apps which already existed in 24 and have an upgraded version in 25. So I've segregated these apps into 3 different folders. You can surely do that in your system before you start. So before we start, let's go and check our environment. So here is my 24.3 Cronus environment, which have an custom extension also. So let's quickly check that. Here is a custom extension which extends the customer table and add 3 fields into it. So we'll check that: demo code, demo decimal, and demo date. Same, there is extension to the vendor table, the same 3 fields. And then there is a demo table. I forgot, so let me see. Sample entries, which contain, it's a new table and a new page which contains some data into it. So there is custom data with the custom extension into it, and then all other Microsoft extension which gets shipped from 24. Now remember, if you are upgrading from a prior version and if you don't use all the extensions that are here, it's okay. You just need to consider in the existing folder the extension that you're using. If you don't want to install new extension, you can just leave that step, and you only need to upgrade the extension that you are using in your prior version. So if I'm only using 5 extensions, I'll only keep those 5 extensions in this folder from Microsoft. So if you are not have all these extensions, you can just reduce the files that you place into your existing folder. Okay, so without wasting further time, let's get into Microsoft article. So you come to this page. Don't worry, the page will be in the linked pinned comment and the description of it, which is upgrading to Dynamics 365 Business Central 2024 Release Wave 2, aka PC25. First, you should check the compatibility metrics as we are upgrading from Business Central 24. Let me be very clear what 24. This is, let's see. Okay, this is 24.3. So if you are upgrading from 24.0 to 24.5, any of these cumulative update, I can upgrade to any version of 25. The minimum version that I can upgrade to is 25.0. So you can read it here. The following table list the Business Central 24. It should say Microsoft, make this correction, and the minimum version of the latest release that are compatible for upgrade. So if you are in any of these versions, you can upgrade to any version, not just the 24.0. 24.0 is the minimum version that you can upgrade to. Just for example, if you are on 24.7, then you cannot upgrade to 25.0 and 25.1. The minimum version that you can upgrade to is 25.2. If it is not clear, let me know in the comments. We'll talk about it in details. Okay, once we know that we are good with any version, because I'm using 25.1, I'm good there. Let's come to upgrade application and data, and then we are upgrading from version 15 and later. When I click in here, it gives me all the details. Then the first thing, as I mentioned earlier, that you need to make sure that you install the full text search on SQL Server. You can check it from that video or read this. Once you are done with this, let's come down here. It says install 25, which we have already done. Then upgrade permission set. They are already upgraded for BC24. Prepare the existing database. You have a backup. You disable the data encryption. So if you are using data encryption in Business Central or Dynamics Nav, you can just search for data encryption, or what's that page? Let's see. Okay, something encryption. Let's see. Data encryption management. So if you have these enabled, then you can export the license key and disable these. If you don't have it, you can just skip this step. Then you need to uninstall all extension from your Business Central 24 environment. For this, Microsoft provides here that you need to get all the extensions that you have installed. Then you can uninstall the extension using this command. If you want to do it for multiple extensions together, then Microsoft provides you a single line of command to get, and then with the pipe symbol, uninstall all the apps. Once that is done, Microsoft recommends you to unpublish all system symbols, which you can do in this way. And then we are not multi-tenant, then you need to stop the old service. So let's see, I already have that command loaded, so I'll just load that command. Here is my command. I'll load the Business Central 24 power commands. Then I'll uninstall all the apps. So let's run this. As it is running, we can wait for it. Now this command, what it does, it gets all the apps listed in this particular server instance. Once all the apps are listed, it uninstall apps from that particular instance. Now, as you can see that there are some warnings because they are not done in the same order. You may have to run this command multiple times, and why I'm saying may, it based on what all extensions you are using in Business Central 24. So if they are very simple, you don't have much extensions, it might get completed in a second. If there are more extension, then it may take some time. Now, because the prior step have removed the extension because it has a dependency flag, it automatically uses this force command, which automatically removes any dependent extension. For example, if the base app has been removed, which majority of apps are taking dependency on, all the dependent app using the force parameter also get uninstalled automatically. That's why we are seeing the message because it is not installed, because that has been already dealt with. Even if you get an error, it's not a problem, you can just run this again. So if you notice, the first app that was removed was Business Foundation and the base app, and those are the two major apps on which all these, or three major apps on all these apps are dependent on. So that's why it says it's not installed. Once the uninstallation is done, don't worry about your data still is in the system. Then you need to unpublish the extension. So when I run this, it will go and start unpublishing each and every app which is already uninstalled. If something is not uninstalled, we'll get this message. So that means the first uninstalled did not run for all the commands, and there are some leftovers, which happens because of the cross dependencies between the apps. So if you see this error, don't worry, it'll be handled, because it's happening because of the not completing the uninstall part. What we'll do next, as it completes itself, is we'll run both of them together, because anything that is left over will also get uninstalled for the next time, and then we'll be able to unpublish them. So don't worry if you see weird error messages here, because it's just part of the equation that it happens one by one. So it'll go through all the apps that you have. Even if there are errors, it'll still try to see what can be removed and what cannot be. Once it is clear about it, we'll just run through the previous step. I think I should pause it for a while. Let's see. Okay, it's done. So let's run the uninstall again, see if anything is left. If something is left, it'll be done, and then we'll run the unpublish, which will also quickly unpublish everything. Okay, still causing some problems. It should have been removed everything. There should not be any error. Okay, let me try again one more time. Okay, that should have been removed, I doubt. Okay, now the next thing is to remove all the symbols that you have. So let's just remove. Okay, and then we stop the Business Central 24 service. Now that stopping of the service removes all the connection that you have with Business Central 24, and you're good there. Now if you are coming from a prior version, which is 17, you need to clear the old FLF license references from SQL, which we are not doing in this video. We'll do it in another video. Then the next step is to convert application to version 25, which means now we are on the next step. For that, I'll have to restart the PowerShell, because the previous PowerShell was pointing to BC24. And we'll run the step 2. Now don't worry, this PowerShell will be available on the GitHub. I'll just load the PowerShell module for BC25. Then the first step is to convert the database to 25. Now in the good old days of nav, there was an exe, which we all beloved FinSQL exe, which we used to open the database to convert the application. Now when you run this PowerShell command, it does the same thing. It does a technical upgrade of application database and convert it to a version 25 platform. It only updates the system table to the new schema, and then you can move ahead and connect it to a service. So the first step is to invoke the nav application database conversion. This you provide the database server, and then you provide the database name. This is your database name and this is your database server. As you run through it, it tells you that it has been done. Then you need to map, and I forgot because I copied it from older version, I guess. Okay, now I need to configure this to business and 25 service. I will have to, and you can read it here, I'll have to uh, set the service parameter, which is setting up the database server name. If I have database instance, then database instance name, the database name, and I have to disable the task scheduler so that no job queues run during my upgrade process. As I'm done with it, I need to restart my service. So as I run through it, it'll start setting up those parameters. As we all know, anytime you change anything on the service tier, you will have to restart the service, and that's what the warning is saying, that the new setting will only affect when you stop and restart the service. Now in this step, you will also notice that Microsoft mentions to import the partner license here. But at the same time, Microsoft have very clearly specified that for upgrades, a partner license is not necessary. So you can skip that step. If you want, you can just enable these two commands here, which I have disabled here, and then provide the partner license. The next step is to synchronize the tenant to make sure that nothing has been lost. This step checks for data validation and sees that everything is in place. Now if you are multi-tenant, you also have to do the mount, and then for each tenant you have to run this, whereas we are on a single tenant, so we just run this. Then now comes the publish extension. Now at this point, we need our core extensions to be published. Now why I say core extension is because these are the bare minimum extension that are required for the upgrade, and all Microsoft as well as custom extension or ISV extension, whatever you call them, will have dependency on one or more of these. So I always prefer to publish only the core extension at this point. When you read through it, the Microsoft article also talks about system application, business foundation, base app, and then the application. So you just need to run through these, and while this is happening, I'll explain you why I'm doing this. So I'm just taking the references from the BC25 product DVD and publishing them here. As this happens, Microsoft also suggests you to restart the server instance, so I'll just run the publish. Now any extension that is built for Business Central will at least take a dependency on one of these extensions, one or more of these extensions. So if your extension is modifying something on the core apps like mine on customers, vendors, or items, then I'll have to take a dependency on my extension development on the base app. If my custom extension is only doing something or taking references of the system object, then I'll take dependency on system application object. So for upgrading, it's always easier to make sure that your core apps, which is now a bunch of 4 apps or a batch of 4 apps, if they are upgraded, then rest of the apps can be upgraded at any given point of time, because for each app there is a specific upgrade step, which is publishing the new version, synchronizing the new version, and then running the upgrade to new version. With these 3 commands, you can upgrade any other app, but these 4 apps are the core to the system and should be upgraded before you do anything else. At this point, I go a little bit against what Microsoft Path says, and I have tried it multiple times, so I'm very sure about it. But if you look at it on Microsoft Space, it says here in this task you publish the extension at as minimum, okay, as minimum you publish the new base system application from the installation DVD. But surprise surprise, for the base application the dependency is the foundation app, and then the application is needed because to do a cross dependency on the base and system application. You also publish new version of any Microsoft and non-Microsoft extension that were used in the old deployment. So when people say, oh, do I have to do all the apps? Not exactly. Whatever apps you're using, you just have to update those. Publishing an app or extension, add that extension to application database. Once published, it is available for installation. So you just need to publish it. And as Microsoft article also says that as minimum you publish the new base and system application. Now there are sequence based on the dependencies of this app. The first one is the system application, which you find in the product DVD. So you run through this, then you publish the business foundation, because the business foundation depends on the system application and the base application depends on business foundation. So then your second priority becomes the business foundation. Then the third one is your base application, which still contain your majority of the business central application objects. And last but not least, you publish the Microsoft application, which then in turn creates a cross dependency, not a cross dependency, but it makes it simpler while you are doing VS Code to not to create manual dependency with the base app and the system app or the foundation app. You can just do it with the application parameter. Here Microsoft says that if you have new versions of Microsoft extension, you can do that. And if you have other extension from other ISVs, then you can run the same command. But I'm not going to do that right now. And that's, from my perspective, it's not needed at this moment. Then it talks about recompile extension, which are not built on 25, which is not needed if you already have an extension updated version. Same for repair, you can skip this. Once this is done, we'll have to synchronize these extension in the tenant. Now the synchronization steps, what it does, it checks that are there any schema changes in the new version of extension which may cause data loss. If there is any changes which can cause data loss, the upgrade will generate an error message. So this becomes a very important step. And here again, you follow the same sequence and run the sync step. Once this is over, which is synchronizing all these apps, then we'll come to the upgrade data. So let's go back and see what's happening. The base app is still the biggest app, so it takes a little bit time. What I'll do is I'll pause the video and resume it once the publishing is over. Okay, so the publishing of the apps is done, the core apps, and the restart is also done. Now let's go about and do a sync. Now people tell me or ask a question about the version, how I get this. Now it's super simple, that if you want to get an app version, what you can do is you can do a get nav app info and then do a path parameter. In the path, you can specify the path of that particular app that you're looking for. Just a note that all Microsoft apps as of today all have the same version. So I've just copied this here and assigned that on sync. Now in sync, it is mandatory to assign the version because at this moment there is a system base business foundation and application from Business Central 24, and we just published from Business Central 25. So just to be very clear for the process to understand which app to be synced, you need to specify the new version of the app that you want to synchronize. So always make sure to specify the version during upgrade stage, or that what version you want to upgrade to or synchronize to. So I'll just select this, and this will again take some time again, because at this moment it is validating that the new app that you are announcing or introducing in Business Central environment is not making any destructive change or causing a data truncation or deletion during the upgrade process. If any of these apps are causing any such issues, you will get an error message at this point that there is a problem in your newer version of the app. Some people send me images saying that they have tried forcing it. At least guys, during upgrades, never add a force sync at this step. If it's your extension, then you better know what you're doing. But if it's a Microsoft extension or an ISV extension, for Microsoft extension, you should never do it. for an ISV extension, take have a discussion with them and then take the decision. Okay, the sync is done. Now let's deal with the upgrade data. Now on this step, what we are trying to do is we are trying to run the upgrade. Did I skip that? I guess so. I forgot to mention that. So I should have listed the upgrade data step in my PowerShell. So I'll just do that right now. Okay. Okay. Upgrade. Okay. What we are going to do here, oh, I've already mentioned it, that we are going to run the upgrade of each and every app. Now, if you are coming from prior to Business Central 24, where Business Foundation was not announced, then you have to install the Business Foundation, which is not the scenario from 24 to 25. So you don't have to worry about it. But if you are coming from prior version, which we will be coming into the future video, then we will have to install the foundation. Then you run this upgrade and then you run the upgrade. So at this point, you start running the upgrade of all these apps. As I said earlier, each app has its own upgrade routine written. And with that upgrade routine executed, the data of that particular app will be updated. So this step will automatically install the newer version of the extension on your tenant, and your upgrade to new version for the non-Microsoft extension can happen separately, which we'll do later. Now at this moment, once this is all done, all the upgrade is done, the next step here is to install third-party extension, which I'm not doing right now, updating the control add-in. Now on this step, if you guys know it, let me know. But if I'm not wrong, from past 2 versions, this particular step is not running for some weird errors. And I'll just show you with one, because none of these are running. I have checked everything, it's all looks correct. But when I run this, it gives me an error that the add-in does not exist, but add-in actually exists in that folder. So if somebody from Microsoft, which I hardly believe is watching this, make sure that you have updated this step. This step is not running from last 2 releases. Okay, but this just updates your control add-in, so nothing major on your upgrade. Then if you have upgraded permission set, you do that, which in my case is nothing. And then make sure to change the application version, which again sets the nav application, which is associated with your help and support and other areas. And then once you set that, you also have to run the nav data upgrade. Now to check that, what you can do is you can check the get nav application and then provide the server instance PC250. What you'll notice that even if we upgraded to Business Central 25, majority of step is still point to 24.3. This step will update this, and then it will update the help page also. So I'll just go ahead and run this set. This will go ahead and update the application version on my system. So now when I check this, I'll see 25.1. At this point, for the core upgrade, I'm more or less done. So this is done. Okay, so now if I go to my BC 250, because this will be 250 now. Remember, I had 2 companies here on 240. If you can see here, Cronus USA and Test. Now if I go to 250, 250, you'll notice that I still have the 2 companies, and I have only my core extension available on my environment. So not all my extension are available. The 2 companies are here, but when I go into extension management, I'll only see my core apps, which is my application. I still have the older versions of the apps, which I should have uninstalled, unpublished, but I can do that later. Business Foundation old is uninstalled, System Foundation old is uninstalled, and I only have my core apps, but I don't have my other apps available, which are the new apps that has been released and the existing app that I have. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and do that. Now I'm going to upgrade my non-core apps, which is other than those four apps. This is our internal PowerShell command which does that. So I'll just run it. I can't show you the code inside that, but what it'll do is it'll go inside the existing folder, and all the apps that are inside there will get upgraded. For each app will get upgraded, and I'll be able to see those apps in my environment. Because there are a lot of apps, I didn't want it to waste time to write all those commands. So internally at Consulting, we have built this PowerShell command which automatically upgrades multiple non-core apps so that I or you don't have to waste time with it. This helps us to save time with a lot of upgrades that we do. At least in certain regions and country, there are so many apps, and we would like our customers to use all the apps that are available. So this just takes care of all the apps. There is an error, but okay, let's see what happened in the environment. I might have mentioned something wrong somewhere, but now if I see here my extension management, there's still nothing. So let me just review the command. Just give me a minute. Okay, let's run this again. I had that loaded into the older version, that's why it's causing errors, but let's see. So this automatically will take care of all the apps that I have placed in my existing app folder. We'll run the same commands again, which is publish, sync, and upgrade, but I don't want to do it manually one by one, so the script will take care of it and will automatically upgrade all the non-core apps which are available in the product DVD. Now in the non-core apps, if you remember, we had a custom extension. This command will also take care of it and will also upgrade that app. So I'll wait for it to complete, and then I'll restart and start the video. So as you can notice here, it started upgrading the apps. The first upgrade that it ran is for the custom extension that we had. Then it upgraded the on-prem permission. Then it's upgraded the payment link, payment practices, recommended app, review GL entries, and so on and so forth. All the apps which were available in the existing folder which I created earlier will get upgraded here. So let me open that folder. So whatever is the content of this folder, I can drag this here. Okay, all these apps will be dealt with and will get upgraded automatically. So it'll take some time. So I'll pause this video while this is completing, because there are some bigger apps also in this, and they all will get upgraded to version 25 at that moment. Okay, so as you can see here, all these apps has been upgraded, and if we go into our BC environment and try to refresh this page, what you'll notice that all the apps that I was using in Business Central 24 are also available here as Business Central 25. And let me go and change the view so that it's visible. All the apps are here. Now, other than upgrading all the existing extension that I or my customer was using, I also have a responsibility to make sure that if my customer want, I get them access to the new apps. Now, yes, there are some problems in at least the subscription and billing that we are hearing. You should have surely heard about it. But just for the demo, in the similar way, we also have a command which makes sure that on a folder, whatever apps are available, they gets updated and installed on the environment. Now this is going to check all the apps that are in this folder and going to publish, sync, and install all those apps into my Business Central 25 environment. Now as this is happening, which is similar to what's happening, we'll be able to notice those apps in this page, which currently ends at this kind of width with one cursor. We should be able to see 4 more apps, which is create product information with Copilot, Power BI reports. I know these does not work with on-prem, but just for the demo, If you have any other apps that you're introducing new, you can just go ahead and install those apps after your upgrade is over, because they are not related to the upgrade piece of it, because there was no data into those apps prior to business central 25 in this case. And you can just go ahead and install those apps. Once all this is done, at this moment, if I refresh this page, I should be able to see those new apps which we just added in here, to see that they are also available here. Last but not least, I need to go back and review the data that we had. So if I go back into my customer and see, did I get the custom data associated with my custom extension that we use into the demo, you'll notice that the data came forward as it is on sales as well as on purchase on the vendor side. And same for the new table that we have added, just sample entries. All the data is available here. Now, having said that, that's what a business central 24 to 25 upgrade looks like. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But as I said in the beginning of the video, make sure to let me know into the comment section which country you would like to see an upgrade from business central 23 to business central 25. You know the drill at this moment. You can drop all your queries and suggestions into the comment box. If you like the content, hit the like button. If you think this is shareable and someone will help by watching this video, do share this on your social media account, and do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This video was powered by Aditya Consulting, your partner in growth. If you have any business query, you know where to reach us, which is info@adityaconsulting.com, or reach out to me on social media. We'll be happy to help you. So that'll be all for today. I'll see you sooner than later with the next video, hopefully before New Year if you guys comment earlier on this video. But if we did not meet before the New Year, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Thank you and have a great day.